And now it's time to go out and adventure again. And I think, does it? Yeah, it screws up. I never understand that. Every so often when I try and charge up a Shine Spark, I'll duck and then it just goes away. But yeah, that's the speedy way that you're supposed to get up here. And of course I try my short speed boost. I duck, but it doesn't register, and I go ricocheting off into the beer lava. So there's another basically 30 seconds down the drain. The idea is that you're supposed to short speed boost and then boom, right through with a Shine Spark. And then you come back out wading through the beer lava, but you don't do it both ways. Again, it's one of those things that I usually get done, like the back of my hand, but for whatever reason, I don't do it here. Okay. It's the pressures of being on camera, folks. The Let's Player curse, even though it's not considered a Let's Play. Anyway, Shine Spark through here. We're a little low on energy, and we gotta wade through beer lava, but the nice thing about this room is that there is an energy tank on the other side. So, wade through the beer lava, try not to get grabbed by those enemies. And get to the other side, and I've been lower on energy than this, and trust me, that energy tank right here is a godsend from hell, because we gotta go through the beer lava to get to the other side. Oh, beer lava. Little things that I could use to shave off a couple seconds. I mean, if you can shave off a couple of seconds 60 times throughout your run, I mean, that's a couple of minutes every single time. So, anyways, you balance between those two columns of breakable or fake floors in just the right spot, and you will get both of those. And if you don't, you're basically screwed for time, because you're going to have to wheel around and try it again. The smart thing to do, Lan, would have been to aim downwards and go through the floor, but the perks of the wave beam that you only recognize when you're doing post-commentary. Anyways, back down into Brinstar for some serious cleanup. Not cleanup of everything, but just serious cleanup. And this would, of course, be the area if you didn't have knowledge of the Mach Ball, where you would speed boost through and get the super missiles, the reserve tank, all those things. And I don't know why the best thing to do is just to plow through that room and ignore the face huggers there. Energy tank. Got a full row of those things now. Use a super missile to get some super missiles. That's a nice trade-off. And of course, we're going down into the area of the game that was the bane of my existence when I was emulating this game. Oh my god. Trust me when I say, I didn't always love wall jumping. Once upon a time, I hated it, and sucked royally at it, and was stuck in this room for hours. Trying desperately to emulate what the Edacoons were doing, jump from wall to wall. And of course now the fact is that I can jump from wall back to same wall and do a single wall jump. Practice makes perfect. And I've never quite understood how you're supposed to be able to get to that ledge without, you know, going back down. I don't know if you have to mock ball very, very precisely or whatever it is. It doesn't lose too much time, but like I said, if you can save a couple of seconds in 60 areas throughout the game, that's a couple of minutes you've saved. Anyways, we will be very careful to avoid the area with the Decora, teaching you the Shine Spark. Because I know how to Shine Spark, I don't need you to do it. But that is the area of the game, I mean, with the Decora and the Etecoons, that really changed everything for me playing Metroid. I was like, oh my god, you can wall jump? I mean, if you're really lucky your first time going through the game, you might be able to wall jump like at 1 or 2 spots throughout the game, but you can't, you know, string together a series of them. It's just not how a normal gamer works. Because the motions of it are so irregular and so unlike, you know, so many precedents set with wall jumping at previous points in gaming history. I mean, Shinobi 3, I think the entire Shinobi series did it actually. It's just fluid wall jumping. You just stick to the wall, you jump, you go across. Pretty easy. This is very precise, but you know, it's the best wall jumping that I've ever seen, honestly. I mean, once you know what you're doing, you have so much control. You can cling to a wall like a goddamn ladder. So we open this up. Of course, remember to open up both doors by destroying the large-ass side hopper, rather than just one, so we don't have to destroy said large-ass side hopper again. Anyways, this is the time where, in the past, I have always gone into Old Brinstar. Well, I guess not quite yet, but I don't really have a whole lot to talk about from here to there, so... Power bombs, missile door, kill the Zeros, Zoros, Zolos, whatever the game wants to call them, I don't know. The things that evolve into key hunters, basically. We're certainly getting a lot of energy tanks, aren't we? But yeah, this is the point where, on my way out of Green Brinstar and into Red Brinstar, I usually make my way into Old Brinstar, you know, the area that we got the Morph Ball through the Power Bomb door. But I figured, since you have to go back out that way, you know, with the Plasma Beam, anyway, you know, I thought I might streamline it and take care of all the things in Old Brinstar and Old Turian at one single point, so one trip. So I'm always looking for new ways to streamline my experience through the game to save, you know, a couple minutes here and there. Just because I know that rooms like the one in Norfair are almost always going to give me trouble. Just because, you know, it's the curse of having to play through the whole game at once. But it really does separate the boys from the men, being able to shave off those last precious couple of minutes and being able to get a record time. And I used to go through and get the X-ray scope through that power bomb door once I had the grapple beam, but recently I've just taken to waiting until I come back out of Norfair for the last time when I have the screw attack and all that stuff, and the space jump, that, you know, it's just so much quicker. Again, goes back to that whole streamlining mentality. And we're off to Meridia. What once was my most despised area in the game. I still despise it to a large degree, but it's just for this one expansion right here. This one expansion that, again, so many other times off-screen I will get first try. But on-screen, when, you know, there's a camera involved, or some kind of recording method, I always screw up the Shine Spark. And, you know, right there, I duck, but Samus didn't charge up. I don't get it. Is it because maybe I let go of the B button? I don't know. And I remember a good deal of the run, but I don't remember what buttons I was pressing at certain times. So yeah, this is an area where I really waste a whole bunch of time. Like, literally 2 minutes are just nothing but mindlessly wasting precious time. Desperately trying to get this thing. And I think 5th time is the charm for me. It's something crazy like that. 4th or 5th time. And here, I should have it. I should have it right here. I jump. Oh, but I'm a little too far. God, I hate that jump. It's probably one of the worst ones in the game for me, besides that Norfair room. Third time should have been the charm, but of course it wasn't. Of course, here, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to open the door. What a waste of time. Oh wait, do I get it? Do I get it here? Yes, I do. Okay. All that for a missile tank. You know, you'd think it could have been like an energy tank or something. But no, it's just missiles. Or super missiles or something. Oh, Meridia. How do I hate thee? Let me count the ways. I waste a bunch of time trying to screw around, kill the crab, where I should have just wall jumped straight up and gotten in. Oh boy. You know, you can learn a lot by recording a run like this, and you know, try and see areas of improvement. We're over halfway through the game already. And I think I'm up to like 30-40 minutes of in-game time. That, of course, and I don't know what the hell I'm going for. I'm trying to go for the stupid exit, but then I remember, oh crap, it's not that way. It's the other way. I should have just stayed up to the top room. Oh, right. I gotta go to the turtle room. With the freaking Buzzy Beetle lookalikes. It's like, what the hell are those things supposed to be? Seriously, what are those things? They look like Mario enemies. And I jump! And the jump doesn't register. I distinctly clicked the A button there. Anyways, it only takes me 2 tries to get this. If you don't feel like doing this, you could either space jump, or there's a method by power bombing on top of the turtle, and then it'll go up a certain way. I've always tried the time-saving method. There's, again, it's the risk versus reward factor. You can do it almost just as quickly by power bombing the turtle, but I don't know what I was going for there. Besides just causing massive game slowdown. Use a Shine Spark, and it's the only time without the plasma beam that you can actually kill those pink space pirates. And here I screw around, fudge up, and lose a bunch of seconds of time. Always depressing when looking at this, because I started off very well. One of the best starts that I've had. I mean, my wall jump up the shaft in Old Turian is one of the best that I've ever done. And of course, being able to pull off the just skipping of the spore spawn entirely, both mock balls flawlessly. It was a good start, but I sort of fell off the wagon a couple of times. Anyways, here's the missile expansion that so many people miss. Because the douchey map tells you, oh, that's the end of the room. Well, if you just keep going, it's the Zelda syndrome. Invisible, I don't want to say invisible walls, but invisible passages? Because it's not invisible walls. It's the opposite of invisible walls. And again, there, we got the same thing. I mean, you have no reason to suspect that, I mean, you could try and bomb through it, but, I mean, you have no reason to suspect that that's just an area that you can just straight walk through if it's your first time through the game. Muddy Maridia. I guess this was designed to be one of the more beautiful areas of the game, but I just don't find Maridia appealing in the slightest. It just drags on if you don't know where you're going. It's just such a maze. And even if you do know where you're going, you have to at least make one circuit through the area to get everything. It is an infuriating place. It's not. I don't consider it beautiful. I consider Brinstar beautiful. I consider this just to be muddy and annoying and just blah. One of my least favorite areas of the game. And I still love the game, and I can tolerate Maridia to a very large degree. More so than in the past, because I know it tons better than I did. I mean, even, like, I am 50 times better at this game than when I LP'd it in 2008. And in 3.5 years, I'd say that I've become a pretty darn good player of Super Metroid. Again, not the best, but certainly good enough to be able to be competitive with times and all that stuff. I mean, I absolutely love racing this game. The one time that I have raced this game, I think I did it on the Metroid Marathon with Gaming for a Cause. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Because there's something about competition that just brings out more skill as a gamer. I think that was one of my best times up to that point. I had gotten, I think I got 118 for that file that I played through on that marathon. It's just a game that just fits racing like a glove. Now, of course, I'm not going to be... You know, it'd be pretty boring if I were to race any standard player of this game, like NCS or anybody, just because there is no competition to it, because I'm just going to blaze through the game at lightning speeds. I mean, unless I add the caveat that, you know, they can be an any percent runner, while I have to be 100%. If I get 99 or 98, I automatically lose because I missed something. Of course, you can't miss something unless you don't have, you know, the game's end totals memorized, which is, of course, 230, 50, 50. 230 missiles, 50 super missiles, and 50 power bombs. That's the end result that you're looking for. And, of course, if you don't have 4 reserve tanks and 2 full rows of energy tanks, of course you're not complete on those. But I mean, I just... In such a short time, I became a decent player at this game to freaking awesome, and that's just due to constant persistence and trying and playing again and again, and that's a sign of a good game. The fact that, you know, they don't offer any incentive to just keep playing besides the sake of getting a better time. Like, I don't care about score in Mario, but for the love of God, I love time in Metroid. Prime series not so much, because time isn't that much of a factor. Percentage is more the determinant factor in the Prime series, but time in the 2D Metroids is key. And for whatever reason, Dragon, I have never had him do this before. I don't know what causes him to do that, to come from that side, but he does. He did. This is the one time, again, on the camera, where I end up blowing another minute on the dragon fight that I really shouldn't have. I guess there's a certain spot that you have to stand to ensure that he always comes from the right, spewing his spider webs. Or his ooey gooey stuff, whatever it is. Now he starts teabagging you, and good God. Does he have to do it between her legs? Does he really have to do it between her legs? It's so wrong. God, Nintendo, what were you thinking? Anyways, deep-fried crayfish. And we're at 3 or 4 bosses down. Imagine that. And now we get the space jump. Alas, the wall jump is almost obsolete. Not entirely. I mean, it can still get you up chutes and shafts faster than just standard space jump, because space jump has to... You have to be at the peak of your jump at a certain length of time in order to, you know, continue to jump. Whereas wall jumping, you know, you just... As soon as you hit the wall, boom, up, 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 up. But for the most part, the wall jump is obsolete now. And this is the part of Maridia that I hate the most, because you have to do a complete circuit around the map at least one time. Many times if you don't know exactly the way that you're supposed to go. And it just drags on a little too long, in my opinion. But anyways, do not go for the flashing door. Open it up, by all means, sure, but do not go for the flashing door. Instead, make your way up here, which leads to the energy tank. And then you go down to the quicksand on purpose, and that takes you down to the area close to the entrance of the place that has this music. It's left, not right, Lan. Come on. Yep, there's a wall there. You can do it. Good boy. There you go. Oh. The things that race through your mind as you play through this game in one sitting, that can just screw up your judgment in the worst places. But, you know, I still think I did alright. Missile tank, and then try not to hit the fake floor, which is, of course, why having the space jump is so valuable here. I mean, you can get all this stuff your first time through, but, yeah, there's not much purpose in doing it, in my opinion, because you're going to come back through the area anyway. And unless you actually need the item, like if it's something like Ridley to beat the boss, if you need, like, say, a certain quota of energy just for some wiggle room to make sure he doesn't kick your ass. But go down the first quicksand pit first, not second, because if you go through the second, you're going to need either some really, really heavy bomb jumping capabilities, or you're going to need the spring ball. And that's where we're going, but the first quicksand trap is actually something that you can take care of without the spring ball. Which is why I say get it over with now, since you got to go down and get the spring ball anyway. This is the path to get there quickest. They sort of go hand in hand. So the first quicksand trap is done. There's still one more, so we're going to have to wheel around the entire area. God, this is such a painful part of the game. All the mini dragons everywhere. Destroy that grapple point and go up. This is why I say wall jumping is still useful in certain places, just because, I mean, the space jump is great. It has a certain jump peak, though. I mean, if you haven't played the game, you don't quite understand, but you can't jump again until you hit a certain point of the jump. Otherwise, you know, it's a wasted jump. And then we have the sand digger part, which is honestly just ridiculous waiting. Like, if you didn't have to be next to this thing and watch it scroll through the sand, I'd say this is another point of the game where you could take a bathroom break, but, you know, you can't, because I think you have to be on screen with it for it to actually continue making progress digging through the sand. But it is what it is. And after a little while, we get through to the area with the spring ball, otherwise known as the one upgrade in the game that I almost never got, because there's no point in getting it except for certain expansions that might require it or make it a ton easier if you have the spring ball. The spring ball itself, I guarantee, like 8 out of 10 Super Metroid players don't get if they're doing a speed run or whatever that doesn't involve 100%, because it's not required. It doesn't even make certain areas easier. It's just sort of just makes you jump. But the one thing about the spring ball that is useful, and it's only really applicable in 100% runs through the game, is that the spring ball does not jump the same way that Samus does. Of course, it doesn't jump because your morph ball form, but it doesn't jump in the same way because when you press the button and hold it down, a lot of people don't know this, the spring ball will continue jumping. Like the instant that it hits ground, it will jump again as long as you have the button held. And this makes getting through areas with fake floors very, very, very much easier. And it also includes the the dreaded missile expansion that's right in front of the Gold Torizo. Makes it a hell of a lot easier to get to, and it's one of the areas where I definitely promote the use of the spring ball. It's basically what it was designed for. But Samus's jump doesn't work that way. Holding the jump, she just doesn't jump again and again when she hits the ground. That only applies to the spring ball, and that's why not a lot of people really know that application of it. But the more you know.